Example 3. Sam wants to blend two coffees to make a smoother mix. The first is from Brazil, selling for $8 per pound. The other comes from Ethiopia and costs $5.50 per pound. If Sam ends up with 6 pounds of coffee worth $38, how much of each kind did Sam get? Well, we have two types of coffee, one from Brazil and one from Ethiopia. We know that the one from Brazil costs $8 a pound, and the one from Ethiopia is $5.50 a pound. I know he made a mix of those two to come up with the 6 pounds, and the total cost for that is $38. Now the question is, how much of each did he mix? Well, let's let B represent the coffee from Brazil and E represent the coffee from Ethiopia. So that means B plus E is going to be 6 because when he mixed those two type of coffee, he ends with 6 pounds of it. Now the second equation is going to be in terms of how much he's spending for that, right? How much he's paying. Well, we know the coffee from Brazil cost $8, so that means 8B plus the 550E should be equal to the total cost, which is $38. And that's the cost of the Ethiopian pound, and this is the coffee from Brazil. Now, we're going to have to use elimination method to solve for the variables. So let's go ahead and eliminate the variable E. In order to eliminate the variable E, I need to multiply this first equation by negative 5.5 so that I end up with the same number but opposite sign here. That gives me that new equation here. Now, we're going to combine this new equation with equation 2 to eliminate the variable E. So if I add vertically down, if I combine those two, that gives me a 2.5. This gets eliminated, and that equals the number 5. Let's divide both sides by 2.5. We get B equals 2 pounds of Brazilian coffee. Well, if it ends up with 6 pounds of coffee, that means the 4 pounds would be from the Ethiopian coffee. But let's go ahead and through the process here. So now we can substitute 2 for B into either equation 1 or 2, doesn't matter. Let's choose equation 1. If I substitute 2 for B, I get 2 plus E equals 6, and subtract 2, you get E equals positive 4. That means he mixed it. So the two mixed are 4 pounds of Ethiopian coffee and 2 pounds of Brazilian coffee to come up with the 6 pound. All right, example 4 is we have a farmhouse shelters 11 animals. Some are goats and some are ducks. Altogether, there are 34 legs. How many of each animal are there? So we know that we have 11 animals in total, right? So that means goats plus ducks should be equal to 11. So let G represent the number of goats and let D represent the number of ducks. So that means G plus D equals 11. That's because we have 11 animals. The second one is going to deal with the number of legs, right? A duck has 2 legs and a goat has 4 legs. So that means 4G plus 2D should equal to the total legs, which is 34. And now we have two equations with two unknown variables. We can either use substitution or elimination method. Let's go ahead and use elimination method. So if I want to eliminate the variable D, I'm going to multiply the first equation by negative 2. Now, why did I choose negative 2? Well, because the coefficient here is 2, I want this coefficient to be negative 2. So that's the only way to get that negative 2 is if I multiply the whole thing by negative 2. Let's go ahead and do that. We come up with a new equation. Now we're going to add that new equation with equation 2 to eliminate that equation or the variable D. Right? Negative 2G plus 4G gives you 2G. 2D's cancel. And then you'll end up with 12 over there. And then if you divide both sides by 2, you get G equals 6. That means there are 6 goats in the farm.